What are we doing here? And where are we gonna go? It's like we just woke up one morning and then it's welcome to the show. Don't ask any.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters in Islam. We welcome you to the Youth at Present, the platform of transformation here. We touch base on current affairs affecting the youth. And yeah, today here I'm sitting with Qari Imran, the scholar of Deen. Those that don't know what Deen means, is the scholar of Islamic studies. Who has also studied with the Escort Islamic Center. The room, I welcome you all and our Qari Imran right here in the studio. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's an honor and a privilege to have me to be in this platform, inshallah. We thank Almighty Allah and we praise Him, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to use this platform in order to spread the message which is shaping the youth, and using this platform, inshallah, to be beneficial for each and every one of us and for those who have tuned in.
Yeah, Jazakallah for actually highlighting that the most. It is indeed the platform of a transformation. Man, we can't ignore the fact that we have lost the father of EIC, and we would love us to dedicate this episode to Uncle Faisal Bassa, who left us on the 27th of August, which marks a week ago. Before we get too deep into our today's program, I would love you to share any memory that is indeed close to your heart and that you have encountered with him, and that that what you have actually learned in his character as a person growing up under his wing.
No, whenever you're saying I should share a memory, it's like you're limiting me. Unfortunately, I spent so much time with a man, the entire life of mine. If I have to start speaking about the experience that are touching, in fact, his presence in our life was touching so much. Nevertheless, just to point out or highlight the few, what I've noticed is that the man himself, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him Jannatul Firdaus, the highest position in paradise, the fact that he had the love for the youth. He had love for the youth, and his love for the youth was that the youth should be educated. The youth should be educated and should be independent. And he made sure that he took people on the street and he made them to be heroes. He took people who never knew nothing and he gave them the platform of acquiring knowledge. And some people, some are nurses, some are teachers, some are lawyers, and some are ulama of of Islamic studies. You can see the passion that the man had was to make sure that everybody is granted the opportunity to excel in the field that they have been granted by Almighty.
I like how you put it, man. It just tells me that growing up under his wing, you observed so much, and that just highlights how much impact that he has on so many of us, and I'm one of those people, and the one that stand out the most for me is how much he stressed about the career we had to get into. I remember how he wanted me to go study medicine in China, and when I told him that I have passion for media studies, he sounded so concerned, and he wanted to know how is media going to make a genuine impact on other people as well. What that meant for me is that he wanted to plant a tree that will bear fruits that will benefit others as well. So that for me, his character just showed me that he was selfless, and he wanted to actually make an impact that is going to live long. It's just gonna exceed just you starting, but from there you can also give back to others.
I get you. Just to remember the statement of the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he says, "Khairun nas anfa'uhum linnas," that the best of people are those who benefit others. He was literally the example of that hadith, because his entire life he was more of benefiting others, so much so sometimes he will neglect himself, but he will make sure that you got food on your table, you got the education, the teachers are there to make sure that you are granted the opportunity and the knowledge that you deserve. So he was the person that worried so much about people. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him the highest position in Jannah, inshallah.
Inshallah, Ameen. And I would also like to highlight that I like to actually appreciate the fact that the ex-student of EIC have considered a special trip to come to escort, to honor and just pay gratitude and pay their last respect to the father of EIC. Inshallah, may Allah make it easy for everybody that has made that intention, and may Allah reward every single person that's gonna be coming through, and those that wanna come and they cannot make it, Allah give them the reward of them being here, inshallah. On this note, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back on the other side. We're going to be getting into our today's topic, which is drug abuse, and this is one social issue that has broken down our community into ashes. Inshallah, we'll be right back on the other side. On this note, we'll take another break. See you on the other side.
داري يا نور هدايا أسري فيك للغاية أتلو الآية والآية وبذا يسمو إيماني فيك إلى الغاية أتلو الآية والآية وبذا يسمو إيماني داري يا نور هدايا أسري فيك إلى الغاية أتلو الآية والآية وبذا يسمو إيماني هذا القرآن شفيع للحافظ حين يطيع حصن يا قوم منيع من ألسنة النيران حلقات الذكر جناني وبها البهجة عنواني يحيا فيها الإنسان لرضا رب الرحمن لرضا رب الرحمن يا من تحفظ آياتي كي ترقي في الجنات بثبات مع إخباتي تختم كل القرآن وجهك شع من الأنوار وغدا يعطيك الجبار تاج كرامات ووقار يوم لقاء المنان وأخوتنا في الله لا للمال والجاه وأقول بملء شفاهي بوركتم يا خلاني بوركتم يا خلاني داري يا نور هدايا أسري فيك للغاية أتلو الآية والآية وبذا يسمو إيماني.
That was a beautiful Nazam. I hope you enjoyed. Welcome back on the other side. As we said, we're gonna be touching base on our today's program, which is drug abuse. The question is, what is drug abuse? What is drug abuse?
Subhanallah. Number one, we have to differentiate between drugs, because if you go to America or if you go to another countries in the world, when you're speaking of a drug, they speak of just a normal tablet. Like in South Africa, when we speak of drugs, we're speaking of intoxicant drugs, something that will intoxicate your mind. Will take you out of a good state of mind.
Yeah.
So in other worlds, in other countries, they might say, it's just a discipline just to cure your headache, stuff like that. But however, it's something which, if you use it, and then you won't be in a sane position, or you won't be in a good state of mind in the way that the Almighty has created you to. So you might lose your mind. You might feel a certain feeling in your body that even if you don't take it, then you begin to get sick. So it's absolutely harming your body. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, he said, "La darara wa la dirara." Do not harm yourself nor harming others. So by taking drugs, you're actually harming yourself, which you are going against the teachings of the Prophet, and which is not good for your own body.
You put it nicely there, Kari. I appreciate the way you just broke it down. As they say, excessive use of psychoactive drugs such as alcohol, pain medications, or illegal drugs, it can lead to physical, social, or emotional harm. The statistics shows that around 269 million people used drugs worldwide in 2018, which is 30% more than in 2009. Well, over 35 million people suffer from drug use disorders, according to the latest World Drug Report that's been released recently, right, by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. So the report also analyzes the impact of COVID-19. Right, the impact of COVID-19 on the drug markets, and it's also like it has also led to more people getting into drugs. So border and other restrictions linked to the pandemic have already caused shortages of drugs on the streets, leading to increased prices and reduced purity. So as we can see now, there's so much that's going on currently, with the lockdown, people losing their jobs, getting unemployed. Do you think these can be some of the causes?
Unfortunately, that sometimes we as people, we think by taking drugs, it's gonna take away the problem that we are facing in a particular time situation. Now mostly you will find that previously we used to say, the youth who are involved in drugs, because peer pressure. Unfortunately now, it's not only the youth. It's the youth, it's the fathers, it's the mothers, it's the sisters, it's the grandmothers, the grandfathers. Everybody is involved in drugs. So now it's something that we have to really look at it in a way that we have to cover each and every individual. It's not just the youth anymore, like how it used to be before. It's not only on the street now. Now it's in the houses, it's in the business, it's in churches, it's in places of parliamentary places. It's all over. So it's an issue that is faced by the nation or nationwide.
It's in the rehabs even.
We cannot say it's in the rehabs, but the rehabs are trying as much as possible to make sure that those who are involved in drugs, they should try by all means to stop using it. But however, the smuggling is all over. People can smuggle something even in prison. They can smuggle it. We're not saying they are doing it, but it's possible with the situation that we are facing in this world.
Wow. Okay, nice put there, Maulana. One thing I would also like to touch base on is just how drug abuse is linked to human trafficking, and looking at unemployment rate, and this has led to so many poor people to be vulnerable for them to stand chances of being, you know what I'm saying, in a risk of human trafficking and all this.
Number one, there are individuals who want to be wealthy, who want to be rich, and they're using this illegal substance by using those who have less power, or those who don't have a state of controlling themselves in terms of protecting themselves. They are vulnerable, so to say. So they take those people who are vulnerable, for example, on the street. They're using young people to sell it for them. they are behind the scenes. They sell those drugs. When they sell those drugs, when they get the money, they send it back to them. So much so that if they have to misuse the drugs or misuse the money, or somehow they get robbed, they get killed. So there's so much killing that happens because of drugs, but which it's not we're not being told about. Unfortunately, some people are also in charge, who are in a position of law. They are also involved in these cases,
which
so
is
it's
really
not
sad.
easy for a normal person to go and report the case, because it gets squashed out. It's not being put out there for the public to get to know about these happenings. And however, when it comes to human trafficking, before even we go out of human trafficking, it is used in the country itself, in the countries itself. Why? Because they use it for women. When the women get hooked in drugs, now she doesn't know what to do now. For her, let's say, for example, she's not working.
Exactly.
She got no way of getting money. Now she got no way, but she needs to smoke this because now it's already in the system. Without it, it's hard for her to survive. Now what she has to do now, they'll tell her, now you have to use your body in order for you to get the drugs. You have to use your body in order for you to get your drugs. So they end up using them as prostitutions. They go and sell their bodies, they get the money, and then they just give them that one line or two lines, whatever, it's just to keep them going, because the feeling and the urge, it's in the body itself. Now you get the young men also. Now these young people, now in order for them to get the line or to smoke, they have to go in business and sell, because they cannot sell their bodies. Now they use them to sell the drugs for them. Now they're selling these drugs in order for them to get to smoke. And some of them, because now they were involved in a situation where they had a rich friend who used to provide it for them. Now remember, friendship, it ends. Now when the friendship terminates, now the man, he doesn't know what to do. And then they begin to steal in the houses. They empty the mother's houses. They steal the fridge, TVs, money, water. Some they demand.
Sell their own shoes.
Some of them, they even kill their own parents, demanding the money, because now they have to fulfill this feeling that they need to fulfill. It's an urge that they need to nurture in their bodies. So drug, it's not something to be taken lightly. It's breaking the communities, it's breaking the families.
Be small pieces.
In small pieces. Now when it comes to human trafficking, normally they use drugs. It's also, we can say drugs are also involved. How? Because now, normally we see these things here in Hollywood episodes or whatever it is, what they do. It's absolutely reality. We might think it's something to be just for the movies. It's a reality. They take these innocent women, and they go and use them to sell their bodies. Not just to sell their bodies only, because in that environment when they're selling those bodies, there is drugs involved. Those people come and smoke. So it's also an attraction for their customers, because there is drugs, there is women, there is music. Now they cannot find a woman in their countries, or they don't want to use the woman that they have no control, so they transport them, they take them from
so abroad. They can have full control
of them. They own them. It's basically a slavery system which was used previously. It's brought back, but now it's in the black markets.
It's sad, man. And you highlighted about what people see in the movies, and now recently I've actually come across somebody that said, I would like to share my story. I'm speaking of somebody that is based in our own town. Somebody that's based in our own town, and some of these things are happening in front of us, but we cannot see it. We cannot see it, because that's how extreme this drug human trafficking can get. You wouldn't see it unless somebody comes out and they say, look, this is what I've been through, and I would like to share my story, because I know that by sharing my story, one day it is going to help somebody. But now, moving forward, before we move forward, I would like us to take a little bit of what we spoke about, right? I want us to look at what are the chances of having control of these situations. What are the chances of having control of these situations, so we don't get these youth actually being victimized by the drug movement. We don't get these women being victimized by the drug movement.
Okay, it begins at home. I always say it begins at home. It begins when I'm saying it begins at home. That each and everybody have to know his fellow brother, sister, mother, child, whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Because once you get to know, and then it's easy for you to see what the person is engaged in. You know, the Prophet, peace be upon him, I will always refer to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam because he was that leader that his knowledge or his wisdom did not only limit towards religion, it encompasses the entire lifestyle. Right? So he spoke about the friend. He said a person is in a friend of his religion. Right? So basically, your friend is your mirror. When you look at your friend, you should know that he reflects you. That's your friend.
Kari, let's leave it there for now. I want us to take another, Nazm break. This one here speaks to the people. It speaks to the people based on what we are talking about right now. We'll be right back on the other side, and we're gonna be looking at the people that you should be surrounding yourself. As Kari mentioned, when you look at your friend, it's more like you're looking at yourself in the mirror. That's the reflection of who you are. We'll be right back on the other side.
Looking up at the sky, searching for the Most High. He rejected the way of worshipping gods of clay. Prophet Ibrahim knew that Allah was near, and that the heart of a Muslim is sincere. Under the heart-burning sun, he declared God is one. Though with stones on his chest, his iman would not rest. The mu'adhin knew that right will conquer wrong, and the heart of a Muslim must be strong. It's the heart of a Muslim through the guidance of Islam that makes you fair and kind and helpful to your fellow man. So living as a Muslim means that you must play a part. Allah looks not at how you look, but what is in your heart. In a poor, meager state, little food on our plate, Mother said she was glad, always sharing what we had. When I asked how can we share what's not enough, she said the heart of a Muslim's filled with love. He said it's time you should know, you will learn as you grow, that some people around will do what's bad to bring you down. Father said to be a star that's shining bright, for the heart of a Muslim does what's right. It's the heart of a Muslim.
I hope you guys are really enjoying this program. Indeed, it is the platform of a transformation, as we said. On the other side, we're looking at the people that you surround yourself with, and I would like you to just highlight more. I like the fact that you mentioned about the friend that you keep around you. Like, your friend is the person that you see in the mirror.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yes, indeed, the friend, friend reflects you. When you're looking at a friend, you are looking at yourself, as I've mentioned. But however, we have to see the people that we surround ourselves with, and understand that the role that they play, or their characteristics, based on their personalities, it will absolutely have a great impact in the life of those people you associate with. So basically, as we spoke about the youth, that the youth, they should be aware, and the parents should be aware. In fact, the whole entire community should be watching each other's back, because when we watching each other's back, we will have a great success in terms of how to guide one another, how we take responsibility for each other.
That's beautifully put indeed. I want us to get into how can we, prevent drug abuse before, just to abstain from it completely. I mean, making sure that these kids are not getting exposed to that type of environment. How can we, the community, what type of actions can we take towards that?
We have to bear in mind also that people have been trying for many years, and people are not giving up also on drug addicts, because the society, we are the people that we love one another. So if you look at the rehabs, for example, they're doing a great job, and they have a great intention, and they're passionate of what they're doing, trying to get the youth away from drugs. But however, you will find that a person goes to the rehab with the support of the family members, support of the community, sometimes some certain sponsors who try to shape another person's life. Another person, he goes to rehab for a few months or years, and he goes back to the same environment.
Why do you think, I want you to get to that. Why do you think, and also I want you to highlight how can us, the community, play a role into that, making sure that the person that's coming back from the rehab, they don't go back to their old ways.
Remember that one of the causes for a person to go to drugs, as we mentioned in the beginning, there is a gap that they're trying to close. Be it a gap of love, be it a gap of family support. Sometimes the person feels so lonely that they rather not feel lonely, they rather be in another state of mind by taking drugs. So we have to understand that each and every person have different approach or a different desire towards drugs. Those who are trying to close the gap. So your family member, your brother, your sister, whoever is involved in drugs, be it maybe they suffering from anxiety or depression. So help should be provided towards that. Perhaps they say they go to the rehab. When they come back from the rehab, let us understand the thing that made them to go to the rehab. So by the time they come back, we try as much as possible to take them away from that type of environment. I always say, when someone comes back from the rehab, if it's a male old enough to work, get a job for him, keep him occupied. If it's a woman, if perhaps she can find a suitable partner, get a job, get married. So you are occupied, because the time that you have that just randomly just idling, then you end up
as they say, idle mind is a devil's playground.
Absolutely, because the only thing that you're gonna think of is absolutely something barbaric. So you gotta make sure that you are in a good state of mind and you are occupied. Too much freedom is not good also.
Indeed, beautifully put there. Anyway, we're gonna take another Naseeha. We're gonna take another Nazam break, rather. And when we come back on the other side, we're gonna be checking out more. And when we come back, remember we'll be wrapping it up with our conclusion, and we'll be also looking into how the whole community can play a role to welcome and embrace those that come back from rehab, so they don't go back to their old ways. Let's move on, and we'll be right back on the other side.
Used to call yourself a Salafi and tailor make your thobes. I would see you at the masjid, now you barely pray at all. Brother, if I'm missing something, you should let me know. You was on your D, now you ain't around at all. I know life can get so crazy. Can't see sunlight when it's rainy. Maybe it's easy to be lazy when you never had nobody checking on your daily. And I ain't perfect, but you already know that. Reminiscing got me looking back like a Kodak. You had my back when I didn't know a thing. Used to put me on a dean, help me overcome my sins. You was a real one, now I'm looking out for you. For all my day ones, ain't forget about you. So I'ma tell you what you once told me. What? Don't forget about the deed. Don't forget about the deed. That's what ultimate stuff be. Don't forget about the deed. Don't forget about the deed. Don't forget about the deed. صراط مستقيم. Don't forget about the D. Don't forget about the D. You was like a sister I never knew I wanted. Nothing physical, you just knew it was important. Told me to put Dean in my poetry and believed in me. Gave me opportunities to reach the masses. Told me about classes and she was a bookworm. Put me on the classics. Never got to thank you for what you did, but always prayed one day you'd find happiness. Now I hear that you was going through a mess. Took off your scarf while you're dealing with a stress. Maybe you depressed, maybe it's a test. Maybe I could never understand, I confess. I can't judge, you could do what you please, but you know after hardship comes ease. So I'ma tell you what you once told me. What? Don't forget about the D. Don't forget about the D. That's it, all the
Yeah, that was beautifully put right there. I hope you enjoyed it indeed. We still are here. It is the youth at present, and this is Brother Yusuf live in your speakers. And with me here, I have Kari Imran, enjoying the program with him, speaking indeed from the heart, just to shed some light to those that are lost in the dark. We're trying to find the light for our community that is, being affected with a lot of things, a lot of social issues that the youth are being affected. And today we're touching base on drug abuse specifically, which has become one of the biggest weapon that has been destroying the youth. Anyway, we've been touching base on the other side. We spoke about how the community can welcome, and we want to see what role the families can play. Each one has a role to play, so we're going to be looking into the families specifically, because it's for them to actually welcome someone that's coming from the rehab. It's not easy, and sometimes it's the love that's missing and the communication that's missing in the houses, I would like Kari Imran just to touch base on that, and looking into the perspective of how the family can embrace somebody that's coming from the rehab, making sure that they're not going back to their old ways.
Absolutely, it's a very, very touching point when you're bringing the family, because the family is your backbone, it's a pillar of support. So, however, in order for a family to give a proper support to anybody that's involved in drugs, firstly, they need to know what is drugs. They need to know the effect of drugs. They need to know the symptoms of a person who's a drug addict. They need to know when a person he is using drugs. So basically, the family needs to get informed or information about drugs. And when they get the information about drugs, then they need to understand that when a person is acting in a certain way, and then how to help him. However, there are a lot of activities and a lot of venues where this type of information is being disclosed to the public, where they have meetings at a certain time, 2 hours, 3 hours, giving sessions about drugs and how to prevent drugs. Because when a person goes to rehab, when he comes back, now whatever he has started in rehab and whatever he's been taught there, he comes home, nobody has a clue of what he's dealing with, nobody has a clue of how to attack this situation. So basically then no one understands that he goes back, because there's no proper guidance. So where a rehab and the family and the community needs to work hand in hand in order to give a proper support.
Support indeed is what most of our brothers and sisters need, those that are lost into the drug lane. There's also one thing that I want you to touch base on, in this perspective of how social media itself has isolated the families. Mom is coming from work, dad is coming from work, son is coming from school, let's say, and when people are sitting on dinner tables nowadays, everybody is on the phone. Mom is watching TV, dad wanna watch news there. It seems like there is no that bond. I feel like also that kinda have a negative impact on how families are engaging, and just knowing how are you, how was your day. That is
the media itself, I call it the enemy of community. The media is the enemy of the community. community, it depends on how you use the media or how do you relate to a media. They say it's a social media. I say it's very, very antisocial.
Yeah.
It's very, very antisocial because the fact that there isn't that communication, there isn't that understanding anymore, because all the time and attention is given to someone sitting in Brazil while you're in South Africa. It's given to someone who's sitting in London while you're in South Africa. So basically, if I'm not gonna sit and communicate with you in person, look at you, feel your energy, understand, see your body language. Now, basically, a person just sitting in a phone, how are you? That's it. There's people till today when you find them when they're laughing, they say lol, basically laughing out loud, but the person is in person. It's not. It's basically not even laughing out loud, but it's saying I'm laughing out loud. So basically, it's a very, very tricky situation.
Yeah, man, it's really sad.
It's not social. It's not social media. It's very, very antisocial. So families need to come back and go back to the ways of interacting.
Taking it back to the basics.
Communication is very, very important. That's how you're gonna get to know if someone is going through any difficulty, anxiety, problems. Because now people can lock themselves in the rooms and spend the entire time communicating with the thousands of people who call themselves I'm your friend because I'm on Facebook. Necessarily they're not your friends.
Yo, that's so true, man. And my advice before we wrap it up, I would also like to highlight it would be nice if we can switch off the TVs when it's time to just have dinner and touch base with each other on a genuine level. Have a time with your family whereby there is a box, everybody must put their phones there. We're switching off the TV. We're going to talk. We're going to conversate. We're going to engage. I want to find out how your day was. How is work going? You know what I'm saying? It's this basic communication that's missing in the houses. Like, I was having a conversation with one of the youth that had a complaint regarding this, who highlighted that my parents don't know me. They don't know me, but they tell me what to do and how to do it, but they don't know me and they don't even want to take time to even understand what I want to pursue in my life. They don't even take time to listen to what I have to say.
It's a community that is built. The community of today, they are being built by the media. So you have to go back to old ways where the community is built by the two families, and then they grow together, understanding one another, understanding their perspective and their roles in the society and their roles in their own selves. Once you understand your community, you understand your family, then inshallah everything will go well. Because by putting media before your family, you're absolutely saying, no, you are not important to me. What important at the moment is those people are not present. You, even though you are in present, but you're not important to me. So let us make it other feel important in that way, inshallah. There will be a lot of guidance, there will be a lot of safety, there will be less depression, less worry, because you'll be able to share your sorrow, share your pain with your people present, with your family, and the solution may be provided.
Wow, beautifully put there, Maulana. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of Naseeha episode with Kari Imran. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you've been listening until now, Jazakallah, we appreciate you. And do not forget to subscribe on our channel. But before we actually get to that, I would like you to just have words of conclusion. Just a few last words before we wrap it up.
I will say we need one another. Be there for each other. Give more time to your family. Give more time to yourself. Understand the people around you. In that case, inshallah, there will be a less drug addicts, because everybody will understand everyone's situation and we will be there for each other.
Beautifully put. Ladies and gentlemen, Jazakallah for listening. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Make as much money as you can and try your best not to get broke. Copy everything you see on the TV, from the hairstyles to the clothes, and don't think too often. Just do exactly as you're told. And if you ever get confused, then just turn towards the alcohol. you'll still hear your thoughts. Then just turn up the radio as you learn to live a lifestyle of drugs, sex, and rock and roll. But in all honesty, I just need to know, is there more to the cycle than growing and getting old? Living and dying just to leave behind a happy home and a whole lot of property that somebody else is going to own. I just really need to know before the casket's closed, 'cause I'm not willing to gamble with my soul, nor am I ready to take any chances. These are just simple life questions and I'm just searching for some answers. Like, what are we doing here? And what is our purpose? How did we get here, and who made us so perfect? And what happens once we go, or is this world all really worth it? Questions we don't answer because apparently we don't really have to. There's no purpose to this life and our existence is merely natural. Then in that case, please let me ask you, did you create yourself, or was it somebody else who had fashioned you? 'Cause you're a being that's impeccable, faultless and unparalleled. You're a product of supreme intelligence and I'm merely being rational. For there isn't a camera on this earth that can come close to the human eye, nor a computer that can compete alongside the human mind. And if the whole world was to come together, we wouldn't be able to create a single fly. So many signs, yet we still deny. As science tries to justify that all this could come from none, when it's a simple sum. 0 plus 0 plus 0 cannot possibly ever give you 1. So from where did all this order come? For everything has its origins, a maker, a creator of its own. I mean, the only reason you're watching this video is because somebody had to press upload. So we can believe in the Big Bang, but I'd rather believe in He who caused it to explode. Allah, the creator of everything along with every single soul, the ever-living, the master, the only one who is in control. Unlike his creation, beyond our imagination, and no, he's not a man, nor does he have any partners in association. He's on his own, and no, he did not ever leave us alone. Just like every manufacturer, he left us with an instruction manual, the Quran and Islam, and I'm sorry to jump to conclusions, but it's the only one possible. The only definition of God is the one and only supreme being. It's logical, a book with 0 contradictions, with miracles that are both scientific and historical, all revealed over 1400 years ago, like the detailed description of the human embryo.
The descriptions of the human embryo in the Quran cannot be based on scientific knowledge in the 7th century.
To the mountains as pegs holding firm the earth below, and the 2 seas that don't mix in a complete separate flow. To the planets in orbit, alternating night and day as they stay in flow. The expansion of the universe and the creation of everything from H2O. To the stories of the past and the preservation of Pharaoh, to identifying the lowest point in the land where Persia defeated Rome, the gushing fluid that created man in the glands between the ribs and the backbone, and not a word has changed, it's still the same. So please explain how all this was known over 1400 years ago, to a man who couldn't read or write as he would recite whatever the angels spoke. And if you still don't believe, please try to come up with something that's even close. But you can't, so we took God as a mockery and his messengers as a joke.
Muhammad could not read or write. How somebody who can't read or write gonna start a religion?
Dismissed his scriptures as legends and tales of the ancient folk, as we live life according to our whims, desires, and hopes, saying this life is the only home we will ever know. We will live then die, then simply turn to bones. YOLO! Correction, after the grass dies, the rain arrives and it regrows, and Allah Allah promises to do the same thing to your very soul and bring you back from your very fingertips to your toes. As the all-seeing supreme being watches us so close, and we are surely being tested in our wealth, our health, and our self, and everything that we've been blessed with. So believe, for we will surely be resurrected and be brought back to our Lord and account for every single deed as He hands us our books and orders us to read. From the bad to the good and everything in between. You yourself are sufficient for your own accountability, so don't be mad at me. You are the one who thought He wouldn't come back to me. I gave you a whole life long to search after me, but you were busy in all that which was temporary. So read, and glad tidings to all those who believed. And if you disbelieve, read, and don't let that day be the first day you find out what your life really means. Read.
If you've been watching this video until now, thank you very much. Please do not forget to subscribe and share, like, leave your comment, give us a feedback how you feel about the whole video. Thank you.